Welcome back to my Thailand miniseries. Today I'm at the Standard Bangkok, recipient of the ultra prestigious Michelin Key, and according to Condé Nast, one of the 50 hottest hotels in the world. The Standard Bangkok is located at the King Power Mahanakhon, aka the Tetris Skyscraper, the most famous building in Bangkok and the second tallest building in Thailand. Later in the video, I go all the way to the top to the highest restaurant in Thailand for a hyper luxurious dinner with mind-melting views. For those of you not familiar with the Standard and some of its legendary locations in New York, Miami, or London, the vibe is classy, creative, quirky, and cool. The fashionable focus on local culture creates an experience that is definitely different than W Hotels, which does deploy a similar concept and attract a similar crowd. But while the W has that dramatic, glossy, nightclub-esque energy, the Standard is more artsy, warm, and vibrant. So this is the Standard King, which is the base room at the Standard Bangkok. The Hyatt website says this room measures to 333 square feet, but I just don't see how that's possible since the bed takes up the majority of the main room and the bathroom is tiny. The disjointed layout is partially to blame for the cramped feeling, and so is the gorgeous floor-to-ceiling glass. And because that glass is also wall-to-wall, the layout options are limited. I will say this, after staying at the Waldorf Astoria and Banyan Tree, and also spending lots of time at Grand Hyatt Erewhon and the Intercontinental, from what I experienced, these views right here are the most majestic in Bangkok. And besides the views, I also really liked the minibar. Only the waters were free, everything else was a la carte, but regardless, I appreciate a proper minibar setup. And the star of the show is all the way in the back of the bathroom, and that is the Japanese toilet. These make an experience that's probably best described as a human necessity, and morphs that into something that is borderline luxurious and pampering. Of the 1,222 hotels in Bangkok, there are 18 Michelin Key holders. Some of the most notable are Rosewood, the Peninsula, Park Hyatt, the Four Seasons, Capella, and Mandarin Oriental. You would think that since Michelin Keys are given by the same company that gives Michelin stars, that food and dining would be a major factor for the award, but ironically, at least according to Michelin, it's not, officially. With the legendary Mott 32 on deck for tomorrow night and the sky-scraping Oho the night after, the default choice for tonight was the Standard Grill. The Standard Grill is a New York-style brasserie, and what is a brasserie, you might ask? Well, it's basically a steakhouse that is open all day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because I was hallucinating from hunger and also because I wanted to experience the sunset, I arrived soon after dinner opened. For a Monday at this time, I basically had the place to myself, so I opted for a table close to the floor-to-ceiling windows, and the views directly into the heartbeat of the city provided terrific ambiance. The meal itself started spectacularly with the dewdrop. I'm a total sucker for anything experiential because A, stuff like this is sensational, and then B, when you do this as much as I do, these little things are everything. Also, when I see an egg white drink on the menu, I'm obliged to order it, and the same thing goes with burrata, which is recently on my conviction order list. Lately, every time I see it, I order it. I probably ordered burrata from 10 different places on this trip alone. The prawn cocktail was the MVP, and there was another prawn dish on the menu that was twice as expensive, and the waitress guided me towards this one. It was the dish of the night, and she gets the other MVP award. And shockingly and ironically, the steak came in last place, which was not on my Bangkok vision board, that's for sure. To the restaurant's credit, kinda, my issue was with the cow and not necessarily the cook. But any culinary trauma that was induced by that steak evolved into culinary amnesia as soon as dessert arrived. If there are pastries in heaven, I need to get to church immediately, or at least more often. I was told that this dish was a must order, and I did so reluctantly. And I was reluctant because I only had one bite left in me. The entire dish is 6 bites. Don't ask me how I know that. The Standard fitness area is amazing. It's 3 times better than the Waldorf Astoria and Banyan Tree combined. There were dedicated areas for cardio, yoga, weights, CrossFit. There were dedicated personal trainers. There were classes. Even an outside area for more functional training. With the world-famous Mott 32 slated for tonight, and because I'm soon going to the pool, I didn't want to overdo lunch. I headed down to the parlor, which is basically the hybrid epicenter of the resort. It has elements of a lounge, a lobby bar, and a cafe. Sometimes during the evenings, there is live music. On the weekends, there's a DJ. The vibrant color scheme, the eccentric style, the creative artwork are all indicators of how cool this property truly is. After seeing the menu and venue, what I really wanted was to do tea at Teas, which is the super swanky restaurant within a restaurant concept where they serve afternoon tea. But that's not available until 1 p.m., so that's going to have to wait for later in the video. Since it was 96 degrees outside, I thought a pina colada-inspired tropical twilight was very apropos. Of course, when I see burrata, I'm compelled to order it. That is not hyperbole. And to shake things up a little bit, I did the Niçoise salad. And for the record, an authentic Niçoise salad from Nice has anchovies. This one had tuna, which I assume is for mass appeal. I don't think most people going to Bangkok are primarily focused on the pool scene. And since half the year is rainy season, and also since space is really scarce in Bangkok, I understand why most pools are kind of secondary in nature. From all the properties I stayed at in Thailand, the standard pool is actually above average in size. It did not have the tranquility that Banyan Tree's pool had, and it certainly was not the showstopper that is the Waldorf Astoria, but it did provide an oasis type of feel. It was a quiet slice of comfort that was insulated from the craziness below. And spending the afternoon right under the world-famous Tetris Skyscraper, experiencing its true magnificence and just witnessing its utter gravitas, that right there was a memory that I'll never forget. This is my second Mott 32 experience, and I was more excited about this one than I was for my original. And that's because the first time I went to Mott 32, at the Venetian, the Palazzo in Las Vegas, I had no idea what it was, but this time I did. The award-winning restaurant that started in Hong Kong is the preeminent spot for global Cantonese dining. The Bangkok venue compared to Las Vegas was more localized, it had a more intimate feel, it was less synthetic, and I think a better representation of what entails in the cuisine. The menu was ludicrous. Think Cheesecake Factory on steroids in terms of size. If I did not study it for 30 minutes ahead of time, I would have been paralyzed at my dining seat for an hour just trying to decide what to order. There were pictures for every dish, which are supposed to help in your decision making, but for me, it just made me want to order everything. I started things off with the Forbidden Rose, which I ordered based off name alone, but the aesthetics and the taste did not disappoint. For dinner, I ordered 2 classics and I took 3 chances. Both of these classics were ordered during my Las Vegas dinner, so I knew what to expect. The soup dumplings were even better than I remembered. They are in a different strata. If you go to Mott 32 and do not order the soup dumplings, then you did not go to Mott 32. And as far as the chances, only one cashed in, and that was the smoked black cod. The pork belly was almost too elite. Think like Wagyu, but for pork belly. And the fish maw jelly was exactly like its name implies. It was fish jelly. It's a rare delicacy that I almost never encounter, so I had to order it, and now I know it's not for me. Teas is a true concept within a concept. Indeed, the Standard Bangkok is vibrant and stylish, but overall the personality is nonchalant and carefree. Teas is the opposite. It's over the top. It's maximalist, it's bold, it's in your face, it's all eyes on me. The tea setting is $30, which felt like robbery. There were 8 courses overall, split between savory and sweet. And just in case you wanted a little bit of a nibble or a sample of the experience, there were some tantalizing a la carte options as well. After tea, I planned on going to Sky Beach, which is the highest bar in Thailand and the 3rd highest bar in the world. When I checked in, the front desk gave me a free pass and I was excited to use it, but unbeknownst to me, that pass was only valid from 7 to 10 p.m., which is the most unpopular time because it's dinner. I could have paid $40 out of pocket, but I felt deceived and disgruntled, and plus I was going to be up there anyway this evening in a much more glamorous setting. The prelude to dinner at Oho was the best part. The highest restaurant in Thailand, the hype, and then riding all the way up there in a futuristic rocket ship of an elevator, and then you get off the elevator, and this golden curved corridor luxuriously guides you into the main room, and on display, unmistakably, are the best views in Bangkok. Almost always, places like this are a steakhouse, but Oho gives a middle finger to that nonsense, and it chooses the most unlikely cuisine, Mexican. That is such crazy counterintuitive coolness. But unfortunately, the hype, the expectations, and the price, I think they're just too much to overcome. It's too much to live up to. Was the food really good? Yes, it was. Was it world-class mixology and the best dining in Bangkok? That's debatable. Highly, highly debatable. It's Mexican tapas for the price of the most elite French food, and it's really about the experience. If I had to guess, I'd speculate 99% of the people there are there for the first time. Still, the experience was once in a lifetime, and it was the perfect capstone to my evening. I have zero regrets about the time and money I dedicated on my last night to Oho. So I will definitely do more standards in the future on and off the channel. It's a more modern take on the lifestyle hotel niche that the W has dominated for the past couple decades. Compared to W though, there are some trade-offs. The Standard is going to be tamer, quieter, and a bit more familial. However, the Standard is warmer, it's classier, with superior food and a better overall experience. The Standard Bangkok indeed is a gem, and that's why it is the holder of the exclusive and elusive Michelin Key.